My Husqvarna FS450 has been the most fun bike I've ridden in a long time. It's forced me to learn more about riding than any other road bike I've ever had, and is one of the coolest bikes I've ever owned. I mean, a Supermoto is basically the childhood dream. But after just 3 months, I'm already selling it, because I've found something better. Well, actually, I've had something better all along, I just didn't know it. So yes, that sad day has come and I'm selling my Supermoto already. I know it is very soon, but I just need you to know that it's not the Husky's fault, it's mine. You see, with every bike that I buy to make videos about on my channel, I go through the same process. Step 1. I plan on keeping the bike for only a few months to make videos about. Step 2. I accidentally fall in love with the bike after a few days of riding it and plan on keeping it forever. Step 3. I contemplate selling all my other bikes because this new bike is the only one I'll ever need. Step 4. And after a while, the honeymoon phase wears off and I can finally see the bike for what it really is. Too boring, too expensive, realize my current bikes are actually better, or just ready for the next bike for the channel. Well, time to sell it then. And my Supermoto was no different. After a few wheelies and a track day, I was convinced that I could live without my MT-09 and dedicate my life to Supermoto. It might sound stupid now, but if a motorcycle can evoke those emotions, I'm clearly riding the right motorcycles. The truth is that I'm going to miss this bike within a few days of selling it, because Husqvarna, or more accurately their orange counterpart, built an incredible bike here, and I learned a lot from it. Firstly, it taught me that not all Supermotos are the same. This is an incredibly stiff race bike intended for, well, racing. And hopefully I taught a few other people a thing or two about Supermotos along the way, because the number of comments I received when I first took this bike to the go-kart track telling me that Supermotos are intended for stunts and that I should stop trying to ride it like a superbike was hilarious. I'm not sure which came first, but although on YouTube Supermotos are pretty much 99.69% wheelies and stunts and nonsense, there are multiple Supermoto racing series, which is racing these bikes on an asphalt track with added dirt sections and jumps. It's an awesome sport. You should watch it sometime. And despite both of these disciplines being on dirt bikes with road tires, I do think they need different names so that people can differentiate them easier. I was aware of Supermoto racing long before the stunting side of things, but even I learned that a race bike doesn't make the best stunt bike. I know it's obvious in hindsight, but I didn't give it much thought before I bought this bike. I also learned that as a biker, I'm not even slightly good at stunting, and ultimately not that interested in it as a result. But I am glad I got to try my hand at it. I even pulled off the best endo of my life. I should probably have mentioned that the bar wasn't very high to begin with. The 450 also allowed me to try slicks for the first time. It's rather eye-opening trying to get them up to temperature, but then unbelievable how much feedback and grip they offer. Something all bikers should get to experience. I got to learn more about engines and conquer my fear of doing a top end on a 4-stroke. The more mechanical stuff you do, the less intimidating the next job will be. Plus, by putting a new piston in the bike, it'll be in a better mechanical state for the next owner. So, I don't regret buying this bike at all. But what I have come to realize is that if I'm just going to be riding asphalt karting tracks with no dirt sections like I have been doing, something like a Yamaha R3 would be just as fun, a lot more practical and cheaper to run than a Supermoto. After all, they have a more track-orientated riding position, don't need rebuilds every 50 hours, and run cheaper tires. There is, however, a very strong case for owning a Supermoto. The adrenaline you can get from trying to ride as fast as you can on track is addictive. That feeling of trying to improve lap after lap is super satisfying. I love being able to misbehave without breaking any laws or endangering anyone else. But the truth is that there's more than one way to get all of those things. A better way, at least for me. And I've had it all along. The only problem is that you're not going to like it, because the answer is motocross.
Ew, David!
I told you weren't going to like it, because almost all of you are road-obsessed maniacs, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. But I can get more adrenaline from jumping a dirt bike. I don't need new tires every few track days, which makes my bank account happier. I don't need new gear or plastics every time I crash my MX bike, because sand is more forgiving than tarmac, and motocross just challenges me more. It's kind of like that Jeremy Clarkson meme. Supermoto is brilliant, but I like this. Of course, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would quickly change my tune, and without a doubt have this bike in my collection and ride it more often than I'd like to admit. I sincerely hope and suspect that this won't be the last Supermoto I ever own. That is where I would stop. Anyway, well. Come on. But that is why I love making motorcycle videos on YouTube, because there's no other way I could possibly have justified owning such an awesome Supermoto for just 3 months. There just wouldn't be a point to it. I think most bikers would be keen to try just about any bike for a few months, and I'm ready to try the next bike or thing. I don't know what that is yet, but I can't wait to do it. But anyway, at least now I can tick owning a Supermoto off of my bucket list. Let me know what bike you want to see on the channel next, subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you on the next ride.